All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, hello, it's Mr. G, your buddy. We're going to do some work with selections today in Photoshop and Photopea. So we're going to go over here to classwork, and we're going to go here to module 1, and we're going to go down to introduction to selections part 1 today. Today we're going to need a couple files. We're going to need this picture of this checkerboard here, and then we have a picture of what it does afterwards. So you're going to need this picture here. Go ahead and right click it and save image as. And then you're going to need, get off of that, then we're going to need the picture of after, checkers after. So you'll right click on that and save image as there. And you'll save those both to your downloads folder. And then you'll pop over here to Photopea if you're remote, and you'll pop into Photoshop if you're in class, and you'll go ahead and go to open and load those. I've already got those loaded up here for us. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I see when I look at my after picture, the checkers that are down here were up here in our original. So we got to move that around. So a lot of selections are going to be about data, visual analyzing what you have visually and what we got to do. So I see, reason we got circles and squares and circles here, they're all circles and squares. So they're going to should be fairly easy to go through this, right? So if I go here, so what I'm going to do, I'm thinking I'm going to copy this area down here, and I'll put it up here, and I'll copy this area here, and I'll put it down there, because I can visually analyze that and know that that wood grain is going to be pretty hard to tell if there is something, especially if I'm going to have writing over it, right? Like we have over here. So we'll go ahead and we're going to go here. We're going to hit Command D, make sure I don't have a selection going. So on my background layer, I'm going to go and I'm going to get my marquee tool. I'm going to get my marquee. Remember, I've got a rectangle and ellipse. I'm going to go in my selection toolbox here, and I'm going to get first my rectangle marquee, and I am going to copy. I'm going to copy right about here, right below this dark wood spot here. Click off my screen, and I'm going to just come in here. I'm going to get real close to the edge of the board, but I don't want to grab the board. Make a selection. There I go. When I say Command C, Command V, that's going to copy and paste. And I've got a new layer right here. When I turn off my eyeball, you'll see that I've got that layer. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take my move tool by hitting V or going up here and click and move. And I'm just going to go grab him, and I'm going to plop him right up there, and then click out, back up. Got a little bit of dark space here, but that's okay. We're going to work with that. We're going to go ahead and click him off now. Now we're going to go back to that background layer, make sure we have it selected. Can't select it if we don't have it selected. And then we're just going to drag from the outside of the board. Again, going to go right up to the edge of that board without going on. Maybe grab a little bit of that shadow right on the edge, but we don't want to grab the actual board. Let go, Command C, Command V, make a copy of that. See when we turn it off, now we have a copy of that. So I can grab there, hit V, my move tool. I'm just going to go and grab that right down here, put it into position, and then I'll turn that on, check out my background, take a look at that. That all looks pretty super duper. All right, so next thing I know, when I look at my checkers after here, I have got all the checkers here cleared out except for this one blonde piece down here, but all the black and blonde checkers are all gone right through here. So we're going to go ahead and take those out. I'm going to go and visually look at what we got. So pretty much I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checkers to go away. And I got this one's going to stay, and then these 3. And then looking back, I also got to copy a few checkers up here, and it looks like I'm going to pull them from over here. All right, so we're going to go here, and first of all, we're going to get rid of this checker right here. Let's start with this one. So let's zoom in here a little bit. And I could go in here with my ellipse tool, and I could try to get on my background layer and select that guy, and I could move that selection around. I could hold shift, he's a circle. I could try to select that and move him around, but I'm looking at it, and what I need to do is I need to get this square here. I can grab this square and I can copy that, and I can place it right on top of there, and it looks like that checker never was there. So I'm going to hit Command D and get rid of that selection. And if I zoom out just a little bit, you'll see that as the board goes down, it's a little brighter up here than it is down here. So I just can't grab this one and put it on all of them. I'm going to have to, on this row up here, probably use that square for this one here. And then I'll probably use this square here for those. And this square, or maybe this square here, I could probably use for all four of those. But you can see that it's just a shy bit, the tone's just a little bit darker as it goes down. So we're going to select specific squares to go in here. And this one's on this seam. It's got that little seam down there. See, like there? So we'll use that to move over there. So I'm going to get my hand tool and line up here. Kind of position up what I got. I'm going to get that rectangle marquee tool again. I'm going to make sure that I'm on my background layer, and I'm going to just select in here, and I'm going to get that square, and I'm going to get just to the edge of that crease where it's showing that shadow, but not all the way into the crease, just like that. I'm going to do Command C. I'm going to do Command V, and I'll have that layer right there. Again, you'll see it right there copied. Okay. And then I'll just get my move tool, and I'm going to move him right on top of there, like that. I'll zoom out. That looks good. All right. And now I'm going to grab, I think I will grab this one here to grab for those two there. So let's go in here. Again, I'm going to move over, get my rectangle tool again, make sure I'm on my background layer. I'm going to select that square. Release when I'm happy with my selection. Command C, Command V. I'm going to move over here, get my move tool, and I will move this guy right up here. Using my hand tool as I go, place him right in there. Looks like my square is a little bit too big, so I can just resize that. Push return. Okay. Now moving out here, I need to replace this one here too, and this one. And there, I think that guy right there is going to be good for those when I look at it. So we've already got that one copied, so we're just going to paste it again. So I Command V again, and we'll just move this guy right here. And then Command V one more time and place this guy right here. Zoom in real quick here to resize my squares just a little bit on top of there so that they fit in there just perfectly. Remember, you can zoom way in. Make sure I got that one. Yep, that's the guy I want. Get that guy in there. And then I'll commit that. Okay, and then we'll zoom out, see how we're doing. Looking pretty good so far. All right, now we're going to use this square here, I think, to block off these three guys here. So I'm going to go back to that background layer, zoom in, get into where I'm working at. Marquee tool one more time. Grab this guy here. Zip, zop, zoop. Command C again to copy. Command V to paste. And then we're going to get our move tool. Zoom out just a little bit. Right about there. Too much. There we go. All right. Get our move tool. And I'm going to cover up this guy. And then I'm going to return to commit that. Then I'll see Command V again. Paste another one. Paste this guy right here. These guys are going off the edge, so I can kind of just drop them right below there, and they'll be just fine. And then which one else we need to do? I believe this guy right here. So we'll go ahead and Command V one more time, and put this guy right here. Push return to commit that. All right, so I've got all my checkers all going in here. I'm going to say this layer right here needs to go just a shy bit darker here. It's kind of visual. I could have grabbed another one, but I'm going to go ahead and adjust that because I notice it. I'm going to go ahead and go to Image. I'll go to Adjustments, and I'm just going to take the brightness contrast on that down just a little bit. Come on, give me my box. Adjustments and brightness and contrast. Close the window first. Don't know what you mean. Close the current window. Oh, there's one over there. It's hidden behind there. That's why I couldn't see it. So we're going to go right here, and we're just going to visually look at this right here. And we're just going to take that brightness down just a little bit. You'll see there just a little bitty touch. It's going to make it look like it fits right in there. I'm going to take it to about -33. I'll push OK. Hit my background layer again, kind of look at it there. That feels better. Now I'm happy with that. All right, so I've got all those layers right there, all those squares. I'm going to go ahead and organize some of this here. I'm going to go ahead and take these layers, and I'm going to hold down Shift there, and I'm going to click top and bottom. And then I'm going to hit Command G to group them into a folder, and then we'll call that the hidden checkers. That just kind of cleans up our layer palette now. All right, now we're going to go over here to these guys here, and we're going to look at these because we need to copy these guys and put them over here, like right up here. So it looks like we're going to copy these 3 blonde checkers under here and this one darker one on top, and not that one. Okay, so let's go back and look at our image here. So that looks like what we need to do. So let's go in here. And again, we're going to visually analyze what we need to do here. Okay, so first we got to find that layer. So that is going to be the one we copied here. That is this layer right there. So I make sure I've got it copied. Okay, again, I've got several tools. I've got the round ellipse tool. So I could go in here and I could try to grab my ellipses. And I could just go in here and add to those selection by hitting Unite and try to grab them, but it's not very accurate. You see, when I get in close, I am not right on my edge, and I'd have to correct them. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. I'm going to hit Command D. Okay. I could go in here with my lasso tool, and I could just try to draw around them, which I could do and get pretty accurate. But again, that's a little slower. So why don't we try to grab one of our auto selection tools. I also have the magnetic lasso tool and the polygon tool. Polygon tool we've discussed in the past is not a great selection anytime you have curves because it only makes straight lines. And the magnetic lasso tool just never works very well. It's kind of buggy and I just don't use it very often. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try one of our automatic selection tools. This is usually what I start with when I'm doing selections. I'll start with one of our automatic selection tools, and then we'll move on and clean everything up with one of the regular magic lasso tool. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to grab, let's start with the quick selection tool. Okay, I'm going to hit Command D, and let's go ahead and try to grab this guy right here. And you'll see with one click there, I got a pretty darn accurate selection. Okay, now I'm looking at that and I can visually see there's a good amount of contrast between this, the color of the wood of this checker and the color of the wood behind it. So that's why it's selecting it so well. So go ahead and we'll just go ahead and make sure we're set to add to this selection. And we'll go ahead and go over here and we'll click that guy. And then we got that guy. And then my brush is a little bit big there. It's probably hard for you guys to see there. I'll keep moving it there, but I'm going to make my brush just a little bit smaller by hitting my bracket keys right next to my P. And again, make sure I'm set to add. We'll get and select this, and there you can see in the darkness it's starting to get a little iffy there. So I'm going to just click, and as I get closer, I need to grab this guy too, and then this dark one is probably going to have a lot of problems. Yep, and see, I went and grabbed all this stuff. So I'll hit Command Z to go back one step here. Okay, so with that darker one, it's just too dark in contrast to the wood, or there's not enough contrast, it's not grabbing. So I've got my blonde checkers are perfectly grabbed. I'm going to go ahead and grab my lasso tool, just a regular lasso tool, make sure I'm set to add to selection, and I'm going to go ahead and add this here. Now I've got my selections going right up to the edge here, so first I'm going to go and I'm going to click right here, and I'm just going to go and get this edge right down here. And I'm adding to, and then remember it makes a straight line. So I'm just going to go straight up here and I'm going to let go to grab all that information in there. Okay. Now right down here, I can go in and I can clean that up just a little bit. We'll go ahead and add that little corner right there. And that should be just good for that. We'll go out just a little bit. Now we're going to go up here and we're going to go ahead and add this area up here. And I'm going to start at the top here just because I draw better going in a curve this way, and I'm just going to slowly go down. Once I get where I want, I'm going to let go. It's easier to do this in bites rather than trying to do it all at one time. If you're having lots of trouble with it, or drawing a circle or drawing a straight line, my art teacher told me a long time ago, try holding your breath if you're really having trouble doing concentrated lines, and it does work. It does help out. So if you're having a lot of trouble, you can try that trick. All right, let me get this little corner right here. All right, there I've got a selection that I am happy with, and kind of look around, see how my details are. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to hit Command C, and we hit Command V. We'll zoom out here, and we'll get our move tool, and we'll move those guys onto the checkerboard. See how we're doing there. I've got a little corner there. I'm going to do Command Z. Remember, the best thing about digital art is you can undo your mistakes. So Mr. G's got a mistake there. So I need to go in there, and it looks like right about there, I've got some kind of little, there it is. I see it. So I need to kind of grab this edge right there. Just kind of hard to see. The marquee in Photopea is a little bit more difficult to see. There we go. I'm going to go, not Command O, cancel. Command 0 to zoom out. Now I'm going to go ahead and we'll do Command C, Command V, move tool, move my checkers over here, and I'm happy with that. Okay, let's go over and look at our reference picture real quick. And there's checkers. We're sitting right on that third one there. That's where I got them right there. And let's go see where we got them at. We got those right there. Okay. Now, when I click away, though, the one thing I notice when you look at it, they are not setting down on there. And the reason it looks like they're kind of floating, like has like the sticker effect is what I call it. And we don't want a sticker. But if we look at this checker right here, it's got a shadow under it, and our checkers don't have shadows on them. So that's why they look a little odd, right? So if we go in here, and I can just get a brush, and the easiest way to do this is I'm just going to get a brush. I'm going to go and make it a fairly soft brush here. So I have got, I'll just get a soft brush 22. That's a little small. We'll make that, let's go up here and we'll make it about like that. It's sitting at about 80 there. And I'm going to make sure that I have black. So I'm going to go down here and push OK. This is one way to make a drop shadow. There are more ways, but this is just a real super simple basic. And I'm just going to look at the shadow that is on my other checker right down here. And you can see it's just kind of going down here just below here, kind of like from about, 9 o'clock to about, 5 o'clock. So I'm just going to make shadows on my checkers from there. And to do that, I'm going to go to that layer. That is this layer right here. And I'm just going to paint on the layer directly underneath it. There's no information there. So I'm just going to paint right underneath that. And I've got my opacity on this. I'm going to turn the opacity down to about 50%. And then I'm just going to paint a little shadow there. Best to go just a little bit at a time if you feel like you need to touch up just a little bit. And you notice I've got my paintbrush underneath the checker. I'm not painting out here because that gives me too much. I just want to kind of float that edge right there to give me that little bit of shadow out there like that. So then when I go Command 0 and back out, now my checkers look like they're planted on that board because they have a shadow and they're casting, blocking some light. So there we got that. All right, so Golden Grams, let's go over here to our picture. Last thing we got to do is we're going to put in this font here of the Art of Checkers. And I also know it looks like I've got a drop shadow there, and we'll do a drop shadow on that in a little bit different way. Okay, so let me go back up here. Let's go back over to our original picture. We're going to click here, and we're going to get our typography tool. Okay, we're going to get our typography tool. We're going to set our typography color to white. And the type we need to put in is the Art of Checkers. And I notice I've got this right here, and then this seems to be left child. So we're going to do this on a couple lines here. But I'm going to go ahead and start right about here. And let's see. I'm going to put that text layer up on top just to make things nice and clean. And we're going to say you gotta give me my text layer. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see what's going on here. My text is not wanting to do it. So I'm going to click a new text layer. I'm going to go ahead and throw away my original one here. Click my text layer. Actually, we're going to throw that one away here. We're just going to hit our text tool and start typing. And we are going to say the art. And let's go ahead and we will triple click that to select it all. And let's see here. Let's say what does 75 look like there? About 125. Let's get pretty good. Let's go 150. There we go. That seems to be about the right size there. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and let's pick a similar font. Doesn't have to be the exact same font. I'm not really concerned about that. Let's go ahead and do this preview extra light. That's not what I want. Well, let's go with that condensed. That's fine. Deja Vu Sans. There we go. There we go. I like that. Dank one. Just pick a one that's kind of thicker so you can see it. Again, we're going to make sure that that is white. It looks black because we have it selected right now. Okay, so we got the art right there. And then we're going to do one more text layer, and we're going to start it right here. We're going to get our text layer. We're just going to click there. And we're going to say of return checkers. All right. Then we're going to get our move tool with V. And, always forget, you got to grab it. Can't hit your quick K because you're typing letters. And I'm just going to line that up like that. Check my reference picture here. And the art of checkers is over here. We'll go ahead and move that over just a little bit so it represents more of what we're looking at. Something like that. Okay. And we can also resize. Let's go ahead and just hold down shift and we'll resize that nice and big. And that is 148%. So we'll push return there. 222 is the pixel size. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on our original art up here and 123. We'll change that pixel size to 222 as well. So it matches. Our move tool and just kind of move everything into place there where we like it. That looks pretty good like that. All right, now last thing we got to do is we need to put a drop shadow. We have drop shadows on here. Again, you see we've got a little bit of a drop shadow. You can see it over here just a little bit better. So we're going to zoom out, go back to original, and like I said, we painted in our other ones on here, but here we can actually do a layer effect where we can go in and do a drop shadow. So on character, we actually have some options here, but we're just going to go ahead and we're going to go into layer style here, and we're going to do drop shadow, and you'll see automatically we get a drop shadow. Just like that. Now when we click drop shadow, we've got some options here, and our shadow that's under here is going down here to the lower left, so we're just going to move our shadow so it does the same thing. It looks like it's already in that direction. Light's coming from that angle. We'll roll it up just a little bit so that it's facing the same way. Then we say okay. Now we're going to go and we're going to do our same thing, and now you'll notice that there is a layer effect tab right there. And we can go back into that. If we wanted to affect it, we could just double click it and get right back in there. We're good. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing for the word the art. See, we grab it, get selected, double click, click drop shadow, adjust it, it automatically adjusts to our last setting. So we have both those going in the right direction. And we push OK. Now, from there, we can go ahead and we can save that all because we are all good to go in our picture here. We've got our font, we've got our checkers moved, and we learned how to use some selections to manipulate an image. Okay, go ahead and save that. You want to save it to a JPEG to turn in for your folder, and then you are going to save it as a PSD in your drive for a working copy. If you have to take this home, remember you got to take it to the Cookie Fingers folder. That's all. Do good work, and I'll see you in class soon.